What's going on, football fans? It's me, J.R. Clark, back again, another Pound for Pound ATL. Joined as always by my main man, Jonathan Holder. Jonathan, what's going on, brother?
Man, fresh off of being on the Out of Your Falcon Mind podcast celebration,
Yeah, that was a
coming
ton of
in
fun,
here,
wasn't it?
it was absolutely a ton of fun, and those guys are a trip, and just looking to get back into some Falcons talk, and let's see what we can figure out as far as this draft thing that's coming up in a week or so.
Is there something coming up in a week? I was I
Uh,
was
there,
unawares.
yeah, I could be completely wrong on that.
Oh, yeah, it
My
could be
head
way off
sometimes
base,
all
huh?
up in the clouds, man.
Well, like you alluded to, um, me and you decided that we're gonna this is going to be our official pound for pound mock draft. So far, we've put out a few here and there on Twitters, and we've done a handful with the community at large. But me and you haven't sat down and really hashed out what we think the Falcons are going to do. Not necessarily what we want them to do, but what we feel like they're going to do, how we feel like they're going to shake out. So that's what we've come together to do tonight. Figure the weekend before the draft, which is when this one will air, um, would be a good time to get it out there and make things official, as the kids say. We'll be using the PFF mock draft simulator.
Yep.
This year, it seems to be the best balanced one as far as the way it runs, the way it operates. I don't really care much about their grades per se that they give,
Hmm.
but as far as just the pure operation, it's the most aesthetically pleasing, and uh, it's the one I've had a decent amount of success with. So let's see. Do we want to do it like that today, maybe? Or we'll
Yeah.
try this. We'll try this one. All right. So I got it set up to go. Normally I'll go turbo just because I'm trying to figure out what we're doing kind of deal. But this time we're going to be deliberate, take a little bit more time. So I got it on the more of the slow side.
Hmm.
Um, Actually, let's see if I can. Well, that's super slow. So we'll see how that goes. We're going to go ahead and do all 7 rounds because who knows what we're going to do. We might entertain some trades.
Yeah.
So I don't want to limit us. I have recently just been doing just 4 rounds because we don't have anything in the fifth or sixth right at the moment. So, but we'll see how this transpires. So I got us selected at the Falcons, middle of the road for need or, uh, and then less randomness because I don't want. I'm not trying to have I don't know. I'm trying to think of maybe a offensive tackle taking it too because that probably isn't going to happen. So,
Yeah.
all right, let's hit it up. All right, we're going to start draft now. Okay, in this one, CJ went one.
I would take it down to slow, like all the way to slow, because that was still. I mean, it's slow, but I
Yeah,
think for us to be able to look and see what it is, and then
and see if
oh,
we want to
let's
make
let's
it.
let's pa- let's pause it and see. Let's discuss
Okay.
this.
So, yeah, okay, here's the deal. This was the only guy that I'd actually be willing to trade up for, but we'll have that conversation here in a second, I would imagine. All right, so we're resuming, and the Texans take Bryce. Now, if we're going to trade up,
Yeah.
I feel like Arizona's where you're going to go. So, do you want to right now? Still on the board is Jalen Carter, Will Anderson, and Bijan Robinson. Jalen Carter and Will Anderson are really the only two that I would entertain, and I don't think you move up from one of those guys
See,
myself.
I think it's Carter and Wilson. I if we now we could be proven completely wrong come
Right.
actual draft day, but I think that we can at least probably take uh, some thought in that he would prefer to have a little bit of a bigger defensive end.
Yeah, yeah, with Nielsen.
Maybe not like 280, 290, but a 270, 265, that range.
Right.
And I think Tyree Wilson, with not just the size but the length, the speed, power, I think that's the guy that's probably outside of maybe. And I'm not 100% on their thoughts on Jalen Carter, but like if it's not Carter and it's a guy you're willing to trade up for, I think the only other guy that you're willing to trade up for besides Carter, if they really love him, is Tyree Wilson. Like that's who I think it is.
Right. I don't think outside of CJ Stroud, I don't think you move up into that 3 hole myself.
I
So,
like I've said this before. I said if the Falcons did move up, the two guys it's for is either Carter or Wilson. That doesn't mean that I want them to do that or that I necessarily think that they'll do that, though they could. That's a lot. Well, okay,
well,
so
I'm sitting there playing around, right? We
yeah,
got we got to offer up 8.
yep.
Are you willing to give up this year's second?
Well, what about this year's third?
All right, this year's third and next year's second has a 43% chance of being accepted. So I
What?
would
Okay,
think,
what about next year's first? I just want to see what it would look like.
okay, next year's first and this year's third
All right, now
would
get
likely,
now trade the third to a fourth. No, yeah.
yep, 97.
Okay, try for a fifth.
Well, we ain't got a fifth, so we can
Oh
do.
well, I don't think that's gonna.
It says
That's
82, but are you willing to give up 2 firsts to go to? I don't think Terry's willing to give up 2 firsts. This isn't
well.
necessarily what we would do. What would you think? Do you think the Falcons would be willing to give up a first next year?
So I'm in agreement with you simply because I think they want to hold on to their first just in case Ritter doesn't pan out.
Right. That's kind of what I'm
Right,
thinking too. Like
just in case.
you don't want to mortgage future draft picks until you know for dadgum sure
Now,
that Ritter's your guy.
now, for all we know, they are bought in.
Oh
They
yeah,
are
yeah, for sure.
completely bought in. And if that's the case, they could give it up. Now, I will say so far, they have done things in a way that have left themselves outs. Like
They
they haven't put
yeah,
themselves in a it's this way or we're
right.
screwed.
Yeah, they haven't backed themselves into any corners.
Yeah.
So I'm inclined to think that in this situation, if Bryce Young and CJ Stroud go 1 and 2, that they let it ride and see where the chips fall.
Um I'm gonna say
Or do you want to see who's sitting there at 5 when Seattle picks or 6 when Detroit
well
picks?
let's let pick three. Okay, I don't think we're gonna move up to three.
Okay.
I don't think. So let's go ahead and resume the draft. Let's see what they pick at three.
Okay. They
All
picked
right.
Tyree Wilson.
Oh man, pause it. Well, all
Well,
right.
they picked Will Levis. I don't think they're coming off of 4.
Yeah.
Now, right now, Carter's still on the board. If you want Carter, it's going to be up in here. If not, let it ride. Is what I is because I'm thinking that Carter's going to come off 5 or 6.
Problem is, do we think do okay, the Falcons may try to get up to five.
Uh huh.
Is Seattle willing to entertain
See,
that if Carter's there?
if Carter's there, I don't think so. That's the thing. Because I don't think so. I think if you were going to make a move, you'd have to do it to 3. I think outside of that, I think everybody else is probably going to stand pat.
Okay, and also I guess for the we won't spend a great deal of time on every single one,
No, no, no,
but
no.
I think first round, even
It
past our
warrants it
pick, I think we need to pause after every pick to at least acknowledge it,
and
maybe
move
mull
on.
it over for a second, and we can move on. But let's make sure we're pausing for
Okay.
each pick, at least in the first round. Once we get past that, we can start maybe letting it flow a little more freely.
Okay. So I say we let it ride and see where the chips fall.
I think if Tyree Wilson and Will Levis is gone, so you got three quarterbacks gone now.
Right.
Tyree Wilson is gone. Will Anderson is still there.
Correct.
Okay. So right now, Will Anderson and Jalen Carter are still there. Obviously, Witherspoon, those guys are still there. Um, and then you got your
Yeah, your other guys, your
the next set of
Gonzalez's.
pass rushers, Nolan Smith, Van Ness, all those guys are still there. So there's still plenty of meat on the bone there. It's not like we're running out of those top tier talents.
Correct.
So let's go ahead and let number 5 go, and let's see if they actually pick Carter like what everybody thinks they're going to do.
Okay. They picked Will
Ooh,
Anderson.
they went Will Anderson. Now,
So
do you think Detroit goes Carter to pair him up with Hutchinson?
I think they very well could. I mean, D line or D interior
Right.
is one of their needs. I think that or an offensive lineman maybe. But they did just trade Jeff Okuda, so your first cornerback might come off right here as well.
Yeah, but they had some guys that they had already picked up in free agency,
Right.
and they've got other guys. So I'm not necessarily thinking that. But okay, let's see if we wanted to move up to 8.
So it wouldn't
Uh,
cost us like we got a good chance of just being able to give them a fourth.
give them the earlier 4th, because that was a trade from Tennessee, anyways.
Yeah, you're at 75% chance. So if you wanted to jump to 6, and maybe now you can say that they got a working relationship. They, they did the Akuda deal,
Hmm.
so that establishes a relationship. So if you wanted to say that, man, Carter's still sitting there at 6, I call up my dude, Brad Johnson up there in Detroit, and offer him Tennessee's fourth
Yep.
to grab Jalen Carter. Or, I mean, Jalen Carter is the only one to me worth it.
All right. So in this situation, my thought here is right now, as even if we do this trade, they're
Uh,
going to move to 8. They're still going to have 2 first round draft picks. They're going to have 2 second round draft picks. This will give them a second. I don't know exactly how many they got, but at least a second, fourth.
mm-hmm.
So that's a lot of day 1, day 2 picks.
Yeah, I mean that gives them
Well, is 4 round 3 or
4
day
is
3?
day 3. Round
Okay,
4
so
is day 3 because
okay.
day 1 is round 1, day 2 is round 2 and 3.
I guess it all depends on their big board, like how deep is their board as far as
Right.
like, do they feel like they can find some real talent in the
All right,
4th?
so let's see something here. Out of curiosity, we can only we could just give them a third next year,
What about
or
4th
even
next year?
fourth next year. You still got a 64% chance.
Now, if with PFF here, if we offer the trade and it's rejected, can we go back and redo it?
Yeah, we can offer them something else.
Okay,
I mean, giving up a
I'm
fourth next year to move
I'm
up
gonna
2 spots, that ain't bad.
I'm gonna say let's offer that.
Okay,
See if they'll take the 4th.
let's see. Okay, trade was not accepted. Four attempts remaining.
Okay, so
So,
move up to I would if we can give up 1 pick from next year and it's a day 2 or day 3 pick
uh huh.
and swap picks this year, I think that's the way to
All right,
go.
let's try round 3. Okay, they didn't accept that.
Wow.
Uh,
97% or 91%
yeah,
chance and we still didn't get accepted.
3 attempts remaining. You want to throw in a Buffalo 7th this year?
Sure.
Moves it up to 92,
Give them the 225.
225.
No, yeah, take
All right, because
that move.
one of those is gone anyway.
Now, are these attempts remaining? Is this for the rest of the draft or just
No, I
this?
think just this particular.
Okay, okay.
So, all right, let's
I
see
yeah.
what that does. Hey, accepted. We are now picking 6th. We
All
are on
right.
the
Well,
clock.
I think if you move up at all,
Yeah,
I think it's got to be for Jalen Carter.
it's got to be right. Like
Yeah,
if
like,
you're gonna make the
well,
move,
based on where we're at in this draft, if we were to move from 8 to 6,
it would
and with
be
with the guys that have already, if the guys that have already been taken in this mock draft actually were gone in the real draft, and the one guy we've been looking at is Jalen Carter, and he's the guy that's left, that's the guy you move up to pick.
right. So that's our pick, right? Jalen Carter.
Yeah, it has to
Okay.
be.
All right. All right. So Jalen Carter. So now they're on the board. We're resuming. They picked Anthony Richardson, which
Okay.
okay. Now our spot,
Let's see who they pick here.
they picked Devon Witherspoon. Told you, cornerback.
Yeah.
All right, so now
But
let's just.
I wonder if they would have picked him at 6 though.
Oh yeah, no, I don't know. All right, so let's keep rolling. They got there's your first.
Skoronski.
Yeah, Skoronski comes off. That's smart for you. Got to protect Justin Fields.
Yeah, I will be interested to see if Philadelphia goes Bijan. A lot of
Bijan.
people have been like, if he makes it to Philadelphia, this is where he goes.
Oh,
Ooh,
Jackson Smith and Digba.
first wide receiver off the board.
Interesting.
That
All
is
right,
interesting.
resuming Tennessee. Who do they go with? Nolan
Nope.
Smith.
Smith.
Interesting. Okay. Christian Gonzalez.
All right, the two cornerbacks off the board.
Quentin
Quentin
Johnson.
Johnson,
Broderick
Broderick
Jones.
Jones.
Smart.
That makes a lot of. Oh,
Same thing.
Darnell
Darnell
Wright.
Wright. Okay. All right. I guess
Uh,
if you're going to be inserting Jordan Love, you want to make sure he's protected.
all right, so we're halfway through.
Yep. Okay. I'm
When
sorry.
when does Bijan go?
Ooh, Bijan. I hate to say it. Either maybe Tampa
They were like one of two teams that actually
that
he
actually
had
brought
visits
him
with.
in. Yeah. So maybe Tampa. Because, I mean, they're going to be inserting either Baker Mayfield or Kyle Trask at QB. So getting a stout running game would definitely help that situation. So let's see what Washington does. Paris Johnson,
Okay,
Steelers, another cornerback.
Deontay Banks,
Brian
Brian
Breesy.
Breesy. Wow.
Oh,
Okay.
so okay, so
Oh,
they didn't get Carter, right?
they went with Breesy
They
next.
went with Breesy. Okay. All right, here we go. Let's see if this is Robinson. Nope, Lucas Van Ness. Well,
Wow.
ooh. Pete Carroll loves him some run game. Pete Carroll loves him some run game.
Does it think he gets
So
Beast Mode 2.0?
nope, Jordan
Wa-
Addison,
Wow. Okay.
Joey Porter,
Okay.
Miles Murphy. That makes sense with the Ravens. Dalton Kincaid,
Wow. Before
Brian
Laporta.
Branch. The other like
Oh,
highly
Elijah
touted.
Canty,
Yeah. Zay Flowers. Will
Will
McDonald in the
McDonald.
first round. Wow. Okay.
All right, Bengals. Hold on a second. Hold on a
Oh,
second.
yeah.
Bengals.
What you
I
think?
saw some stuff on Twitter today that had some. I guess you would maybe call them like advanced stats for Mixon. He's still with Cincinnati, right? I'm not misthinking this.
No, he's still with Cincinnati, but he's in some legal trouble right now.
Well, but there's that, but also like his yards before contact was high, but his yards after contact was low.
Okay.
Missed tackle percentage was low. Just a lot of stuff that was like, hey, this is. I don't know if you want to keep going with this guy.
Ah,
The thing I am most scared of right now,
uh-huh.
Well, we got the Eagles coming up again. I
Right.
don't want to see. I don't want to see Bijan going to them. I don't want to see them going to the Saints.
No, gosh, no. I
I
don't want to see
don't want to see
Bijan twice a year.
no or Jameer Gibbs.
Uh-uh. All right, let's let it ride.
I wouldn't mind Bijan here.
There it is,
Yes.
Bijan.
Oh, thank God.
Saints take Mike Myers,
What? Okay.
tight end
Ooh.
Osiris Torrance, and Keely Ringo. Okay. We're now into the second round.
Okay. All right.
Let's have,
So Bijan's gone.
I think this is like for our discussion, I think this is a decent speed. It gives us a chance to pause and if we want to. So Alexa, stop. When did I ask you? Anyway,
All
all right.
right. So let's go back. Go back and take a look at the bottom. Yeah, there you go. All right.
So
So I'm just happy Bijan went right before the Saints.
right. Yeah, that was pretty good. Like Michael Meyer, I mean, it makes sense. You got Derek Carr, who's in like last few years enjoyed Darren Waller as a target. So he's used to being able to throw to a tight end. Michael Meyer, outside of
I,
Dallas Kincaid, is like was 1-2 in the tight end range.
I just to be completely honest, like because we have Pitts and Johnu Smith and those, I really haven't paid attention to a lot of the tight ends coming out in this draft, so I didn't know.
Man, I kind of had to just because you never know with Arthur Smith. I mean, that man hoards tight ends, so never know what he's going to decide to pull off. So, all right, so we got on the clock is Pittsburgh.
Did
Did
they
they
have a?
even pick?
Yeah, I was gonna say, did they
They
even
did.
pick?
They
Okay,
they picked Deontay Banks.
okay, so they got their DB.
So they got to. I
So
mean, they got to go wide receiver, right? I mean, because outside of George Pickens, they really ain't got nobody. So not like a major weapon. So let's see what they do here. All right, and nope, they went tackle Dwan Jones.
rookie quarter.
Yeah,
Well, not
I
necessarily a rookie,
mean,
but
but
you got
yeah,
a young quarterback. But yeah.
B.J. Ojolari. Okay,
Ooh. Okay. All right.
Maz Smith. Not bad. Jalen Hyatt. Okay, pair him with your rookie. Manuel Forbes. I really liked him. The Uzama. There's Jameer.
Oh.
Yeah, I was kind of hoping he was going to be there.
Oh
80-80. Ah,
man.
dadgummit. Cody
Not to the.
Maul. No, dang it.
Ah. This
Anthony
is getting worse
Harrison.
by the second.
Yeah, it is. Lucas Musgrave. Cam Smith. Okay. Now.
So honestly, like, okay, look, scroll back up
Mm,
just a little bit.
yeah.
All right, so, scroll back down just a little bit.
All right.
I need to move you around.
You need to be able to see what's
You're
going on here.
yeah, you're in the way a little bit. But let me get out of this. Oh, can I not move just you? I can't move just you. Can I move? No. Oh, hold on. Let's do this.
All right. So we got two people interested in trades with us, and that is Pittsburgh at 49 and Buffalo at 59. So do we want to trade down and recoup anything? Or because right now on the board is Diane Henley. Uh, I'm saying that name wrong. Linebacker out of Washington, relatively highly touted. Josh Downs, um, wide receiver that a lot of people are kind of high on, but he's on a smaller side. So not sure. Are you good now? You have over here
Yeah.
moving
Sorry.
us around.
Yeah, I had to because I couldn't see the people down below here.
That's fine. That's fine. All right. Then you got if we want to stick on the defensive line, Tuli Tupulatu, the edge out of very versatile edge out of USC.
Right.
Sam Laporta, if we want to get real crazy and just add another tight end. Right now, I'm kind of eyeing Steve Avila, the guard out of
Yeah.
TCU,
Yeah.
or Luke Whippler, the center out of Ohio State. There's Mullet Man, Joe
Yeah.
Tippett.
Yeah.
But
So okay. So looking at this, almost wish we would have tried to get up to the Raiders to 38.
oh yeah, no, I mean I think
I would have
one.
taken Ade Ade, but
Well, as
uh,
far as if we wanted to look at edge, just straight up and down the edge, we got Nick Herbig, Isaiah Foskey.
everything I've read about him is like once he gets to the league, he's going to be strictly an off-ball guy.
Yeah, Herbig is another like
He's gonna be
Caden
much more of
Ellis.
like he's gonna be much more of a linebacker dude.
Yeah, he's going to be a lot like Caden Ellis, in my
Um,
opinion.
yeah, right now the edge.
I think you're going to be down in here with the edges in the third round
Yeah,
myself, like
yeah.
Derek Hall, KJ Henry, those guys. So, not so worried about edges per se.
Okay.
Uh, now we could look
Um,
at, huh?
no, you go ahead.
I was going to say, right now my eyes taking me to either Steve Avila or Luke Whippler, or even Julius Brents, the cornerback. If you
All
wanted to
right.
add,
So if I'm going here with what I know I can get, whether that's edge a running back. I think I actually think like as far as linebackers go, not that we don't need more guys specifically for like depth and what have you.
Right.
I think that we pretty much have our starters.
Yeah, I think so.
And I honestly think that after the draft, maybe a little bit later on, that we're probably going to cut some guys specifically from like the defensive like tackle group, and possibly even like Hayward or something like that. I think they're probably going to try to bring back Rashawn Evans unless they. Now the other guy, if we're talking linebacker, if you were going to pick that, would probably be Jack Campbell. He was there.
Jack Campbell was there, and he's a linebacker that I would very much be willing to take. Jack Campbell, or even Drew Sanders is still there. Um, but I think Jack Campbell uh, is a highly touted linebacker. But for me, like Keanu Benton is interesting, a run stuffing guy who me and you tend to be a little bit more high on than anybody else. Uh, so Sakai Kai is sitting there. He
What
might be
I
there in
actually
third.
what I looked at Moro Ojomo, he looked good.
Yeah, Moro was at the East West Shrine game on the
Yeah,
Falcons side. So yeah,
yeah. So
that
I would be cool with taking him, and I think that they would too, it's because he was at the Shrine game. But I think that's a guy we can wait on.
yeah, definitely, definitely. I think right now, like if you're wanting somebody, it's hold on, let me redo this. Like wide receiver,
How big is Downs again?
Downs is 5'9", 171.
See,
I just I don't see, and he's a slot guy. Uh, what can he improve his size? Can't, other than putting on some muscle. But like the two top guys right now, him and Tank Dell,
are
are
tiny.
yeah, are tiny little dudes, and I'd much rather wait to get into this group.
Yeah.
Michael Wilson, Rasheed Rice, A.T. Perry, Cedric Tillman, Kayshawn Booty, those guys.
Yep.
So for
Yep.
me, at the second, it's either Thule,
Yep.
Jack Campbell, or Steve Avila, or the one, or what I'm thinking.
Bring up Jack Campbell again. I want to see his size again.
He's 6'5", 249. He's
Whew.
another Troy Anderson, a little bit bigger than Troy Anderson. He's, his role's projecting as a middle linebacker. So, like, if you think you're going to move Troy and let him be more of the will, then, like, maybe you get Jack.
That's
So,
that might be the play, but the problem is then like where does Caden Ellis come in?
right,
And then do you take Anderson off the field in nickel situations?
right. And that would be
Uh,
2 years in a row you took two linebackers in the second round.
yep, yep.
So,
I think I think I think they want to solidify that offensive line, and and because of that, uh,
okay. So, yeah, like I'm saying, we could go Jack Campbell or we could go guard. I think those are the two spots. But like you were saying, with Jack Campbell, like what are you going to then do with Troy Anderson? What do you do with Caden Ellis? What do you do with uh, Lorenzo Carter? What do you do with D'Angelo Malone? And the one place that we haven't really added a major influx of talent is on the offensive line. So I'm really leaning towards Steve Avila or
but
Luke Wilson.
if we try to follow their exact example, then BPA. Obviously, we're not taking Tanner McKee,
Right.
but let's say BPA. Again, it all depends on who we think they think is the best BPA. But I'm going to say I think if they do go defensive end or just defensive line, I think they're going to go offensive line second with whoever they believe, unless somebody dramatically like maybe if Jameer Gibbs was actually
Oh yeah,
there
was
either
in
at
the second.
44
Yeah.
um, Or if he falls even lower to say maybe like 41, where Tennessee is, maybe we try to move up with Tennessee. I don't know, but that's the only other thing I could think of. But I'm gonna say Whippler for
Whippler.
they're so close together. Um,
So you're saying that Whippler
uh,
would come in and just take over at like center.
no, 'cause I think Dahlman's gonna be center.
So that's why I'm leaning
Um,
towards Steve Avila.
yeah, I think Avila is the pick because he can come in and be guard. And then if things just fall apart with Dahlman, is the guy you can move over to center. Whereas
Right.
Whippler is more like, no, he's a center. He
Yeah,
doesn't go
Whippler's a
anywhere
center.
else.
Right. All right, so let's go with Steve Avila out of
Yeah.
TCU.
All
All
right.
right. What does Green Bay do?
Uh,
Darnell Washington. Okay.
oh,
Drew
I totally
Sanders.
forgot about him.
Ah. Titman. Julius Brents.
Yeah.
John Michael Schmidt. Forgot about him.
Ooh, I did forget about him. But is he a guy that can do both? I'm
He's more of
assuming.
a center. He's
Okay.
more of a center. Isaiah Foskey. Hitting a hooker. That's a good landing spot for him.
It is.
Burgeon. Tyreek Stevens. Antonio Johnson. Oh yeah, we could have looked at Keon White was still there.
Oh man. Jack
Jack
Campbell, New
Campbell,
York.
Sam Laporta.
That's the name I keep hearing as far as tight ends is Laporta.
Yeah, Laporta's a athletic freak. Benton, Trent Simpson is another highly touted linebacker. There's your Tua, DJ Turner, Cedric Tillman. Now,
Ooh.
to me, I think we're getting into what might be a wide receiver run.
Ooh, Derek Hall.
Yeah, they had him in today, or they had him in. Zach Chardonnay,
Yep.
Sakai
Uh,
Kai, Tucker Kraft. He's another
who do the Saints take?
Zach Pickens, a D lineman. He's decent.
Okay.
Jartavius Martin, very versatile defensive back. All right. Let's
Ooh,
see.
I'm glad Tank Dell's gone because, I know there's some people that say, but I just I don't even know if the guy
Yeah.
can make it in the NFL with his frame. Oof.
There's Jordan Battle, and then Jamie Robinson. I know that's a guy that they were high on as far as that nickel position went.
Yeah,
Um, Herbig
so
is still there.
yeah,
Mike Mouse is still there, the cornerback. Now Michael Wilson, I enjoy him. I really liked him down at the Senior Bowl. Um, Devon A. Chain, if you wanted to add some speed to the
he's
running back
tiny.
room.
He's tiny.
Yeah, he's what? What is he? He's 188, 5'8". Yeah,
Yeah,
he's a little scat back. Man, we spent some time talking about Jordan Battle.
yeah.
Um, so let's see. Yeah, 6'1", 209. Um,
So he doesn't. So he's definitely a box
box
safety kind of
safety.
guy.
Hmm.
He's definitely not going to be a guy you leave single high, or you
No,
shouldn't be.
he's a too high. He's a too high safety guy. You pick him if you don't think Hawkins is going to do what you want him to do. You know, same thing with Jamie Robinson. Jamie Robinson's a versatile defender, 5'11", 191, too high safety. He's got some agility, some pop behind his pads.
Yeah,
Uh,
but okay. So he's a too high safety. Tends to work better in coverage than maybe in the run game. Though he's okay in the run game. But he's a little bit slight.
yeah,
So
191.
he's not the best as far as like box safeties go. And I really think Grant is going to be your strong safety. If you're
Hmm.
going to pick a safety here, I think it's Jordan Battle between those two because he's a bigger guy. He's more of your big nickel safety than I think a guy now. Rasheed Rice.
6'1", 204.
Yep, but
Uh,
he's more of a possession guy. He's
yeah,
less of a burner.
he is more of a possession receiver.
I mean, he's basically what's Mac. Uh,
Mac Hollins.
yeah, he's basically Mac Hollins.
Yeah, he's like a
Maybe a
shorter
little, maybe
version.
yeah, maybe a little bit shorter than that.
Well, now we could get into running backs here with Dwayne McBride out of UAB, Tank Bigsby out of
All right,
Auburn.
so all right, so go up to the top. Let's
Yep.
filter for wide receiver and running back.
All right, wide receiver and running back. So Michael Wilson is like the highest one. He's 6'2", 213. Um, but the deal is like he had some like injury history in college, so I don't know if you necessarily want to take a
Yeah,
guy like that.
he only played 14 games over 3 seasons.
Right. So every
Ye-
year there was something with him. Then you got Rasheed Rice. Then you got A.T. Perry. Now this might
Problem
be
with
a little
At
bit of a
Perry,
reach.
yeah, problem with At Perry is he doesn't. He's the guy that doesn't like to block.
Doesn't like to block or doesn't show a want to block.
Right.
Um, I think we could get a running back in the fourth round.
Yeah,
So
if we're not taking one of the top two guys, Bijan or Jameer, I
right
think
then,
as far as running backs go, I'm looking at Rashawn Johnson.
yeah.
Like, and I think we can get him with one of our two picks in the
So Anthony Johnson Jr., the safety out of Iowa.
fourth.
Let's see what they say about him. I haven't like studied him. Well, there is no analysis. He's 6', 205.
He's also, but now he only played 1 year safety. He switched from corner to safety.
Oh, okay, okay. So maybe he's a little big for safety. Now Isaiah McGuire,
I
as far
mocked
as
him in one of my mocks.
yeah, he's okay. I wasn't like super impressed with him. But then again, I kind of have a bad taste in my mouth for Missouri edge rushers anyway. Um, they just haven't really produced much in the league. Now, that's further down. Like if we wanted to try to wait and get Sidney Brown in the fourth, because that might be a little rich for grabbing him here, unless you don't think he's going to be here. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah,
Um,
let's see. Yeah, right now, like third round's kind of no man's land, really, for our team. Like you go Garrett Williams and add another, like value wise, according to PFF, he's ranked 57. So let's see what they say about him. Outside corner, he played enough off zone in career to get by, but he'll really shine in man coverage. Teams that play a lot of man should be, coveting Williams' services. Uh, where he wins is his feet. He can match a receiver's every move with relative ease.
the problem with him, at least based on that, is they don't feel like he has that
That
dog.
dog in him.
Yeah.
Like he's got that
Um,
Chihuahua in him instead of that Rottweiler. Um,
apparently.
so
Uh,
I'm willing to go Jordan Battle because I really think that they're going to be putting a lot of three safeties out there.
yeah.
And
I think you bring in Jordan Battle. He battles it out with no
with
pun
Hawkins, all
with
puns
Hawkins.
intended. Yeah, I mean, yeah, I think that he's your box guy. You can then let Richie roam a little bit more, um,
Yep.
or you can do the bait and switch between him and Richie, and let Bates stay at the back end.
Yep.
So I think we should go Jordan Battle here,
Yep. Yep.
and I
Yep.
think that's where Fontenot would probably go here as well.
That's my thought.
All right, we go Battle. Let's see. They take Herbig. That looks like a Patriots pick.
Yep.
Ravon Dexter. Now he was an interesting interior lineman. Tyler Scott. Why didn't we see him? He must have been further down.
Yeah.
Darius Rush is a good corner.
But Tyler Scott's another one
Oh,
of those like
Jonathan
super.
Mingo. I was
Oh
hoping he was going to be there in the fourth.
man, that run on wide receivers is real because
Yeah,
those guys had to have been like in the 120s.
they were down. I was really hoping Mingo was going to be there in the fourth. There's Devon Overshone or
Yep.
DeMarvin Overshone, Brian Young, Tajay Spears. Daggum.
Yeah.
There's Garrett Williams. Marvin
Marvin
Mims.
Mims.
They say he's going to be a better pro. It's just hard for me to like really project him. Rasheed Rice makes
Okay.
sense. Good luck with Michael Wilson. I like
Yep.
him though. Byron Young, it's all right. Nick something or another. Oh, good luck with Andre
Oh,
Carter.
oh
Yeah.
man.
He if we had to
That's a
take
guy. Yeah.
yeah, if we had to take Avila in a second, he was JL Skinner's nice, but he's kind of stiff. There's your Roshan Johnson.
Oh
Yeah.
man.
There's Tank Bigsby.
Oh
Mighty Mouse. Carl Brooks. Okay.
man.
Jair Brown. Yaya Dobby. Dadgummit. I would have taken
Man, I
Yaya
wanted
Dobby.
him.
Trey Palmer was another nice.
Shoemaker,
Yeah. Oh, Jay
Reed.
Reed. Dang. Okay. Crap. All
Mm.
right. Well, we could get Moro Ojamo or Ojomo, KJ Henry, Kendron Miller. If we really want to add a back, he's a nice back out of TCU. Let's see here.
Hmm.
Let's put up wide receiver, running back, and edge. All right. Sean Tucker, one cut and go. Deuce Vaughn, if you want the next like Darren Sproles. Uh,
Yeah.
Kayshawn Booty might not be a bad pick. He has like another year removed off that ankle injury. He might be
What
more.
what's it what's he look what like size wise and everything? I want to
Kayshawn
see.
Booty is 5'11", 195. He's right there on that edge. Um,
Yeah, and like he didn't really do a lot at pro day at least.
right.
I can't remember if he did anything at the.
Well, Keaton Mitchell's still there, so that makes me feel pretty good about adding some speed. Um,
And if we're gonna get him, we need to get him because
I'd probably get him at 113. It's going to be considered a reach by their system, but I don't think I'd push it, past that.
there's Fahoko.
Yeah, Fajoko's, if you want a bigger edge, 6'4", 276. He's got an inside out versatility. Um, he had 66 pressures, which is crazy.
Yeah,
KJ Henry is kind of nice. Not even gonna lie, but he's at 6'4", 251. Like he's that Ebiketie, D'Angelo Malone like type of rusher.
he's also a little older at 24.
Right. So uh Isaiah McGuire's still there. I've heard some decent things about Colby Wooden, 6'4", 276. Says he's a bit of a tweener as he played interior for Auburn, yet clocked in at the combine at 278. He was still productive on tape.
Yeah, not if he played on the inside mostly, he's not going to have those like edge moves
Right.
that you're going to want.
Now, if you want to take something like Jose Ramirez, he's a little bit smaller, but if I'm not mistaken, he had the most sacks last year out of anybody in college football. But he comes from Eastern Michigan,
Yeah,
so small school. Uh, Yasir Abdullah, Yaya Davi's running mate, is still sitting here at 6'1", 237. Um, so more of a
yeah,
smaller edge rusher. Parker Washington is an interesting 5'10", 204. Bigger body guy. Yards after the catch. Arthur Smith loved that.
yep.
They say he's got like a running back's body in a wide receiver with a running back's body.
Yeah,
5'9", 204.
like it says it here, but even like I watched a little bit of tape on this guy,
Yeah.
and his problem was getting in and out of breaks, which if you're going to be a slot guy,
Yeah, you got to
kind
be
of need.
crisp. You got to be
Yeah,
able to break somebody off.
yeah, that's the biggest
So,
problem there with him. Not to say he can't get better with that, but
yeah, yeah.
um,
And then A.T. Perry's still sitting there. And they had him down in the Shrine Bowl or the Shrine game.
now it might be a situation where they didn't really ask him to do a lot of uh, a lot of like serious run blocking at Wake Forest. Like didn't reinforce it, and maybe he had maybe if they talked to him at the Shrine Bowl, it's like, hey, you're gonna have to run block. He's like, I got no problem with that.
Right.
You know,
All I know is when I saw him run block, he barely got in anybody's way. So that was my only concern there. So I'm looking at either Fajoko or Perry or Booty with this pick. It is what I'm looking at. Because who'd we pick up? I told you I was going to write those down. We picked up Jordan Battle,
yep,
Steve Avila, and then we traded for Jalen Carter.
yeah.
So, I think if you're wanting a wide receiver, now is probably the time because they're getting thin. Or if you
So
just want to say that ship has sailed, we're going to run with Pitts, Smith, and London. And then whatever we can get out of Hollins and Scotty Miller.
I think we take A.T. Perry here.
Think we take AT?
Yeah, I think because yes, you look at the film, you see some of the run blocking stuff, but everything else is good with him. Um,
Yeah, I mean he
he
posted
just
double digit scores and more than 1,000 yards each of the past 2 seasons at Wake Forest. So
yeah, I see him as a as a guy that gets out there. He's gonna get out there with Drake London. He's gonna get out there with Pitts, and he's going to see them like here's how you actually do run blocking.
right,
Like here, and they're gonna show it to him, and I think he's gonna be okay with it. Like, what's his weight again? I know he's tall. Is he 200 plus? I'm pretty sure he is.
he's
He's
198.
close.
He's
He'll
right
he'll
at
he'll
200.
he'll probably get up over 200. Like maybe not
Yeah, he
this year, but
starts.
probably
Yeah,
next
he
year.
starts eating that NFL peanut butter, and he'll get up some.
Yeah.
And
So
plus, I mean, he's got the deep speed.
yeah, and
Uh,
that's the
so
one thing. Like the real like deep threat speed is something we're missing.
right,
I'm gonna say A.T. Perry here,
okay,
and hopefully the next pick will be our running back.
yeah, we'll take a. All right, so let's do that. At Perry, we took At. They took Jaquan Roy. Okay, Henry, the linebacker. Now it's back on us. Now we got some folks wanting to trade. We got nothing in the fifth or sixth round. So we're at 113. We can drop down to 120 or 141. When does third round pick up? No, 120, and we stay in the fourth round.
But that's all. That's it. We just literally swap picks. We don't get
No,
anything
no, no.
extra.
I'm just saying this would keep us in the fourth round. So, so if we swap picks, 113, and then we ask them for, well, see, they ain't got nothing but in the seventh, 240 and 251.
Oh,
I don't want more
okay,
seventh round
okay. So
picks.
who else is willing to trade?
Uh, the Raiders, but that's in the fifth round. So we could get our fifth round back.
Is that all? I thought looks like we had four.
Yeah, we got four. Then you got even deeper Arizona and Philadelphia. Now you're talking about just recouping picks for next year.
Oh, okay. Never mind.
So,
Don't worry about it. Like I
okay.
don't I don't like
Nah, I don't either.
I'm not a fan of like
All right.
if we were going to drop back, it's we need to pick up at least a fifth, if not a sixth.
Right. I agree.
So
All right. So, running backs, we have Kendry Miller, who I really like. Sean Tucker, who I like, but has got a lot of miles on him. Deuce Vaughn, if you want the next Darren Sproles. Zach Evans, who's a nice back. Chase Brown, who's also like was one of the better backs down at the Senior Bowl. Keaton Mitchell, who if you're trying to add speed, he's the guy to add speed.
bring up his stats.
Keaton Mitchell is he's 5'8", 179. I mean, he's a scat back, like straight up down. Like, what's his role? Gadget, running back, wide receiver. So he's almost like Antone Smith in a sense. Like he's not
Yeah.
going. He's definitely just a Avery Williams without a year of experience in the league kind of deal.
So
Um, so I mean, he recorded 31 carries for 15 plus yards to lead all of college football in 2022 at Eastern Carolina.
and
But
he's a Georgia boy too.
right, he's from McDonough, Georgia. Um, Mitchell is so dynamic that it'd be unfair to the viewing audience not to give him a few touches per game. At his size, though, a move to receiver may be in the cards. Like he's a gadget guy,
Yeah.
but
I,
I mean, you saw what they done with Cordell Patterson, who's basically been a gadget guy his whole life. Different size, different frame,
yeah.
but like he's a guy that could take a swing pass or like a little dump off, basically to the house.
What about so let's get out of this guy.
All right.
Kendra Miller.
Now, I personally really like Kendra Miller. He's 5'11, 215. More of your like good size back. He's not even 21 yet. Uh, he says, what's his role? Bell cow. Miller has the size, speed, and burst to handle a full workload in the league. He did just that for TCU last season. Where he can improve short yardage, you got Tyler Algier for short yardage. Um, Miller could stand a lower shoulder. Miller runs like a world class slalom skier, makes it look so easy when he bounces left to right without losing any
I
speed.
I think this is the guy, and the reason why is if they're looking at running back here, I think this is the guy because he's the guy that you can. Let's say something happens to Tyler Algier,
Right.
he gets injured. This is the guy that can come in and you can rely on to,
Not
assuming nothing
losing.
else happens to
I
him.
mean, he
He
averaged 6.7 yards per carry for his career. That's what he averaged for his career.
yeah,
So, like,
and he's had 224 carries, but that's like that's one full like that's one
that's a,
season
yeah,
in the NFL. So he's not got a lot of tread. He is young still.
right.
So I think this is the guy you bring in. He maybe has a little bit better burst than
Mhm.
Algier. So I think that's the guy. Excuse
All
me.
right. So we took Miller. Panthers take Isaiah McGuire.
Okay.
Saints take Zach Evans.
All right.
Jake Henner, the QB out of Fresno. Colby Wooden for the Patriots. Kayshawn Booty to Washington.
All right.
Noah Sewell, linebacker to Minnesota. Caillou Blue Kelly. KJ Henry.
Yep.
Now, after we get through this fourth round, hold on. Actually, I think I'm going to pause it and bring it up because we ain't got nothing again until the
Yep.
seventh.
And I'm not like I think
Unless
for
I don't,
I think for us we don't need to worry. I'm not going to worry about doing trade stuff at
nah,
this point in the draft because it's so just
right. At this point, you're so late in the draft, it's not a big deal. All right,
exactly.
let's resume. Bam, bam, bam. Owen Peoples, Eli Ricks. We're in the fifth round. Obviously, we don't have anything. So, what do we still need to get? Like an edge guy, maybe, or just like a random
Well,
edge, or
so
like a
okay, so
cornerback, maybe?
if we're talking sixth and
Well, we were talking
or
about in the
I,
seventh.
actually we're
Yeah,
talking
we're
about the
talking about the
seventh.
seventh. Yeah.
So the seventh, I'm thinking, yeah, you could maybe look at an edge guy,
Okay.
but I'm thinking more along the lines of like guys that we could use on special teams.
Well, then Jalen Moreau Cooper, wide receiver out of Fresno. Linebacker Troy Brown. Trying to see if there's. Oh, okay. We can go Lonnie Phelps. Uh, there at times he looked unblockable down at the Senior Bowl. So if you just want like a flyer, Lonnie Phelps is a good flyer, in my opinion. And I think he could play special teams. Um,
Charlie Thomas, I know I've seen his name pop
yeah,
up
I've
a
seen his
bunch.
name pop up quite a bit. Let's see, 6'3", 216. He's almost a safety. Good lord, at
Yeah,
216. Isaiah Land is another guy you could take a flyer on. Aubrey Miller, linebacker. good hard
Go back
hitting.
up. Go back up to that first edge that we looked at.
First edge,
Uh,
Lonnie Phillips.
yeah, Lonnie Phelps.
Yeah, he had a he steadily had good seasons, game played, sacks. He had 8 sacks last year, 10 sacks the year before. Hits was down, but hurries was up. So my
Yeah,
analysis,
that could be doesn't we don't know who they lost on their defensive line.
right?
There's a
You
lot of
never
potential reasons for it.
right. Like Lonnie Phelps is a guy who I would definitely take a flyer on myself
Yeah,
if
let's
it
go
was
ahead and
left.
get him. Let's go
All
ahead and
right,
get him.
we'll grab him, and then
I think we got one more.
I think
Yeah,
by their standard we
245.
got two more, but I think realistically they haven't updated. Did they have us? Okay, no, we only have one more. Good. All right, so uh, um,
I think you take that wide receiver. Well, go to the very look at wide receivers. I want to see if there's a decent size, or actually like d- this Jalen Moreno Cropper.
yep,
What
he
is he?
is 5'11", 172. He's a crafty route runner in the draft class. He just doesn't quite have the size to feel good about how he would translate at the NFL. So, um, let's see. For me, I saw like if you wanted another interesting edge, Caleb Murphy. Uh, I can't like he was at Ferris State,
Uh,
and he also I think he played for the Falcons coaching staff in the Shrine Bowl. I think, but he at his level, he was the absolute best pass rusher at that Ferris State. Like in that level of so, and then if you want another versatile guy, this Derek Parrish. Uh, they have him listed as edge, but he also worked out as a fullback. So
hmm.
like 6'2", 245. Um, and as far as at Houston, 7 and 6 sacks. So like he's a guy who has shown some versatility to do a handful of different things.
Yeah.
So
So
and because he'd be a special teams guy.
oh yeah, yeah, and I think for that reason, I could see this being the pick because, like you said, the this guy can do special teams. He's going to have to make the squad. So
Oh
he
yeah,
can do special teams. He can also help out on defense. He can do fullback. He can
right.
do a lot of different things.
And
So I think,
versatility is key for all the
yeah,
draft picks, but especially here in the seventh round.
yeah, yeah.
Versatility is definitely key. So
So I would take Derek Parrish.
okay, so that's what we're gonna roll with, and then we'll kind of take a look at our whole. They're analyzing. They're gonna tell us how bad we did.
Yep.
They can't tell me. Okay, so they gave us a C minus for our trade with the trade up, which I don't think is bad because all we really gave up was a
Oh, that's
seventh
the reason.
rounder.
That's the
That's
reason why
the
we.
yeah.
That's the reason why we didn't have a second or a
So
third, seventh round pick.
a seventh rounder and a third round pick next year, but we landed arguably the best player in the draft
Yep.
at Jalen Carter. I think if Jalen Carter, I don't know, they had him in on a visit. It's just a short drive to Athens to go talk to Kirby and his staff. To really get the skinny, the lowdown
Yep.
on Jalen Carter. I think if they move up, that's what they do, and I really feel like that he could be a guy that they would move up for.
And I look at it this way: like if I'm looking at this draft, I see four, at least four starters because I think A.T. Perry is probably maybe day one is your three,
Right.
and then from
Might
there
work his way up.
he might work his way to two, depends on what Mac Hollins does. Uh,
But
but but then now you have Mac Hollins, you have Drake London, you got A.T. Perry again, you got those, and then Pitts and Johnu Smith, and you just got the Sequoias out there.
right.
Uh, and I feel like Perry's going to learn how to run block. I don't think he's going to want to be the only guy on this offensive, specialty guys that are going to be like not a run blocker.
I think
Um,
Avila comes in to me as your day one left guard.
yep,
Jordan Battle, I think wouldn't take much for him to supplant Jalen Hawkins as
yeah.
you're a big nickel player.
Hell, for all we know, he could supplant Grant, but I think Grant's pretty solidified right now.
Yeah, I think Grant's going to take a step forward. Uh, next year, and so I think like Jesse Bates, Richie Grant, and Jordan Battle would give you a very formidable uh, big nickel look.
Yep,
And then Kendry Miller, uh, who knows how Caleb Huntley's going to bounce back.
yep,
So like he gives you a very solid 1-2 punch, and then this allows you to use Cordell Patterson in the gadget ways that makes him deadly.
yep.
Whether it's inside, outside, in the backfield,
I, yeah,
split out.
and I think in a perfect scenario, you would probably see, and it might just be a who's got the hot hand right now kind of situation. But I could see it being Kendra Miller gets probably anywhere between 7 to 10 carries a
Right,
game, and then you got a guy like Algier probably gets 15 to 20 ish, somewhere in that range, and then that probably leaves a handful like 3 to 5 carries a game for somebody like Cordero,
right.
that you maybe bring in the fourth when everybody's
Tired.
tired,
Yeah, everybody's tired of
uh,
tackling and
and
or
he can bust one. But yeah, so I like that. And then the two guys on the back end, they're special teams guys. Maybe
yeah,
they can contribute. Maybe they contribute to, outside of special teams. But as long as they're like good at special teams,
exactly.
then those are successful picks at that point.
Yep. And like Lonnie Phelps, like I said, he was, he really like turned, caught my eye down at the Senior Bowl, and then Derek Parrish, like I was saying, he's got that versatility of, you know, playing at fullback, playing at edge, would probably end up making like a special teams demon kind of guy. Uh,
Yep.
so yeah, so that is the
What grade? I can't tell what grade they gave us for the
a
Parrish pick.
minus.
A minus. Okay.
Oh,
So we got a
well,
lot of A's from the fourth round on.
right. Well, it went like, A, B, C, A, B.
And
So
what's the overall draft?
the overall draft is A minus.
Okay,
So,
I'll take it.
yeah, I think like man, if we come out of this with Jalen Carter, especially after all the talk about Van Ness and Nolan Smith, those guys as good as they are at 8 feel like you were kind of settling, and like to make a little hop and get up to 6 and get Jalen Carter, I think would be an icing on the cake for what has been an amazing offseason.
Yep,
You bring him in. You have like you put him in between Calais Campbell and Grady Jarrett. Whatever character concerns you might have probably melt away. Uh, and you talk about like, oh, those guys can show A.T. Perry how to block. Well, Calais Campbell and Grady Jarrett can show uh, Jalen Carter how to be a pro on and off the field, especially
yep,
Calais Campbell. And like just having that guy in the middle of the defense, you talk about like reinvigorating a big chunk of your fan base who are Georgia fans. Like, regardless of like how me and you like think or feel about it in that sense, like a lot of Falcons fans are Georgia fans. You
absolutely.
you bring in you make a move up to get a Georgia guy, and then you make him like in the first round, like, dude, that would be not to talk about the fact that you already got Lorenzo Carter. There's another like mentor,
Yep.
and
He's
connection.
a former dog.
Right,
Just
exactly. So I mean I have to say like I can very much envision this happening. I still don't see him making it to 6. Like I can't see Seattle. Who did they ended up picking? Let's see, hold on. Seattle picked Will Anderson. I mean, I guess I could see Will Anderson. If it does lay out like that, like there's a very good chance that you could have. Jalen Carter even at 8. But
Yep. Yep. The only real concern I have with Jalen Carter is hi some of the talk about the want to, the passion, the whatever you want to call it. There's certain guys that play football and they love playing
oh
football.
yeah, they just eat it.
Uh, they, they survive on it, and then there's other guys that are really good at football, but that's not the thing for them, and
Right.
that's fine. There's nothing wrong with that, but when you're talking about picking a guy as high as 6 or even higher potentially, you know, that's you want a guy that's going to be, that's got that, like, I want to be the best football player in the world, and because I love this game, I want to give everything I've got for this game. That's the kind of guy you would prefer to have that high up. And does this guy? I don't know for a fact whether he does not. I'm just going off of stories we've heard,
Right.
things of that nature. Now, am I? With that being said, if he's there, especially if he's there at 8, do I say pick him? Yeah, absolutely. But if they don't and they go with a guy like, let's say somehow by the grace of God, God Almighty, if somehow we were there with Carter and Tyree Wilson available, both, that is a tough pick, and I could absolutely see them going either way with that.
Yeah.
Personally, I think if Tyree Wilson is there, even with Jalen Carter, and the only reason I say this is I think they probably value both guys almost as highly as one from the other. But I think some of this is probably coming down to, like, we got a lot of guys in that DT room right now,
Oh
lots
yeah.
of guys,
Yeah.
and we do have guys on the edge, but not
The
as
guy,
not
so to
not
speak.
we don't have the guy. We do have a the guy, probably got a couple of the guys in the middle, but on the edges we don't really maybe Evan Kenny turns into that guy, maybe Malone turns into that guy, maybe Carter somehow morphs into that guy. But right now we don't know that we do.
Right.
And being able to take an absolute freak athlete like a Tyree Wilson that
You're you're
you
betting
know
on traits there for sure.
potentially could be like the heir apparent to a Calais Campbell type guy, you know. And so you bring in Calais Campbell because you think, and that guy now is mentoring your heir apparent to this.
Right.
I can
It's not. Yeah.
absolutely see
I
that
guess.
being the
Yeah.
case.
But I just keep thinking about uh with Jalen Carter. Like you remember a few like years back when like we were felt like we might have been in striking distance of Aaron Donald. Like
Yeah.
he could Jalen Carter could be that guy, you know,
Oh yeah. Yeah.
and
Absolutely.
that would just be phew, to think
Yep.
that you could get that guy, would be exactly what I'd want to do. But there you go,
Absolutely.
folks. There you have it. This is what we are considering to be our official mock. What we think that the Falcons or could very well potentially do. Um, this is the first year that I think Fontenot could easily entertain the idea of moving up, especially if it only costs them a seventh this year and a third next year, which still would leave him firepower to move up if Ritter isn't the guy. Uh, I could definitely see this happening. So,
Yep.
uh, appreciate y'all joining us or watching us rather. Y'all didn't get to join us. We did this one solo.
Yes, we
um,
did.
but keep your eye on the channel because we will be back on Tuesday.
And if it's
Uh,
and
yeah,
just
yeah, go
cutting
ahead.
this off real quick,
Yeah.
if the draft doesn't go anything like what we say, don't come. You know,
Oh, shoot,
and
come at me. I don't care.
yeah,
I'm just
I
gonna tell
just
you like, what do you want
this is
from
our
me?
this is our best guess,
Yeah,
man.
that's our best guess. Yeah,
Uh,
everybody's got one.
yep.
And just remember, this is a mock. Who
But
knows?
also, when you're watching this, make sure you join us for the draft day spectacular. We're going to be streaming the first round. We're going to be streaming the second round. Come hang out with us. It is going to be a laid back affair in my house. you will be sitting on the couch with me as as I watch uh, as I
Well,
watch the draft here. So
I'll be in command center, but this is where I'm comfortable. So, like,
yep,
I sit here most nights anyway. So, but yeah, so yeah,
I'm pulling out my Chromebook, and we're going to see how it streams from that thing,
uh,
and we're gonna see how it goes.
we
But
might have to
yeah,
test that one.
you might even get to meet my wife on stream because I told her I was like, this is good. I want this to be like y'all are sitting in my house on my couch with me. And if my wife wants to come in and watch, she's more than welcome to, and she can
There
say
you go.
hey, and y'all can say hey to her, and yeah,
Yep, and that's yeah. So that's what we're gonna do the first night. We may have, pretty sure we're gonna have a guest the first night, and we may
yep,
have some guests come by and chop it up with us the second night as well. So y'all just keep your eye on the channel. Y'all be seeing us a lot this coming up week, and it should be a ton of fun. Uh, as
absolutely.
as always, y'all can follow me on Twitter. I'm at Grim1128, GRIMM1128. Jonathan,
At Jonathan M. Holder, come by say hi.
there you go. And as always, Falcons fans, rise up.
Rise up.